Heading into the town of Pembroke, you have several options for your point of entry. From the south through Duxbury, you can take Route 53. If you're going downtown, you can take Route 14. We cross the town line by way of Route 27 through Kingston to get our day started. Settled in 1650 and incorporated in 1712, this South Shore town boasts a population of roughly 18,000 people, according to the latest census. And when folks in town want something to eat for breakfast, there's a good chance you'll find them at a restaurant just up the road from here. Named after the amusement park that used to occupy this area back in the early 20th century, the Mayflower Grove Grill has been serving locals and passers through since they opened their doors in December 2012. Located at 35 School Street in Bryantville, about a mile up the road from the Hanson town line, in this mom-and-pop restaurant, you're likely to find owner David Miglietta out back manning the grill. In the front of the house, you'll find locals occupying booths or getting that authentic diner experience by sitting at the counter and reading the paper while they wait for their short stack.
Well, we have a good following here. A lot of regulars come in, and as you can see, we're busy, and people like it. They all get fresh food. They enjoy the people that are here. There are a lot of friends coming here, and they bring their friends, and they bring their friends. So it's like it's one big family, if you really ask me.
But if you don't have time to sit down and eat, and you just want to keep things on the move, there's always the classic American standby, the coffee and donut. We found just the place for that combo on the other side of town on Route 139, and it's aptly named the Coffee Shack. This place is a real throwback to the days when your dad would take you with him to pick up a dozen in a plain box and grab the Sunday paper. No drive-through windows or fancy gimmicks. You want a donut? Well, find a parking space, use the door, and get in line. Depending on the time or the day of the week, there might not even be a parking space, and the line goes out the door. Luckily, we showed up a little after the rush. If this had been a weekend day, it wouldn't have mattered what time we were there. We would have been waiting. Most of the donuts sold here come from their home office in Marshfield, which has been there for 30 years. The store in Pembroke has been here for the past 10 years, and on any given day, you can see upwards of 300 people coming through the door. The most popular donut is likely the honey-dipped jelly-filled. Me, I'm having a plain and a black coffee. That's good. If I planned on justifying eating a donut, I was definitely going to have to exercise. A great way to steer clear of road traffic if you're planning on going for a run in town is to use some of the trails they have. One such place is on the north side of town at the Tucker Preserve. And if you're having trouble locating it on the Google, here's how we got there. On our way toward downtown, we took a right off 14 West down Oldham, and about a mile up the road, another right onto West Elm. From there, if you make it onto this bridge and you see this plaque, you've gone too far and crossed into Hanover. In 1993, Sidney and Harold Tucker donated this large swath of land along the Indian Head River to the Wildlands Trust. The land is guaranteed to never be developed and is here for the public's enjoyment. With plenty of river to spare, you can spend the afternoon fishing. The trails are great for riding horseback with friends, too. Of course, they're perfect for walking as well, and with the river right there, you can stop and admire it whenever you'd like. There isn't a bad seat in the house. And when all that hiking and fishing has worked up your appetite, you can head back down Route 14 to the Herring Run, where there's plenty of space to set up a picnic. Or if you'd prefer, you can just use one of their tables already there. In early May every year, dating back to 1976, this is the site of the town's annual fish fry. The event packs the place with kids and adults with food and games and all kinds of fun. But on a nice quiet day like this one, you can really stop to enjoy the nature that surrounds this spot. Not too far up the road from the Herring Run is the Ichabod Loring Farm. It's hard to describe, but there's a certain magical feeling I get whenever I stop by here.
The light on the property, Brian, is wonderful. It comes up in the east over here, and it just bathes this whole yard in sun all day long. It sets in the west. And it's just the yard as such is wonderful as far as the amount of light and the sun and the different angles.
It's here that you'll meet two of the town's more eclectic residents in Peter Chamberlain and Marie Greenwald. Folks in town may recognize them for the honey harvest that they've put on here at the property every September for the past 20 years. We talked a little bit about just how important the months of June, July, and August are for creating the honey that they eventually harvest.
Those are the months that the bees really store up the nectar and pollen and allow them to overwinter, to make it through the winter. Fortunately, they produce excess honey that we take a small amount as harvest. But in their search for nectar and pollen, of course, they're doing good things. They're pollinating any vegetables or fruit trees, any of those agricultural products that really depend on the bee.
And those bees have plenty of resources right here on a property that covers close to 3 acres. And of course, it's not just bees here in the farm. There have been plenty of other animal sightings.
Once a duck came running across the yard, and we tried to keep it off the road, so he was going around, we were trying to cut it off. It's wonderful. We just love wildlife, and we love the fresh air and all the trees around.
But with upwards of 55,000 honeybees on site at any given time, it does make you wonder, do the bees ever accidentally find their way into the house?
No, they never come into the house. They come close to the plants, to the flowering plants, but they don't come into the house, no. I wouldn't mind if they did.
Years ago, when Chamberlain purchased this property, the big draw for him was this antique barn, which has since been painstakingly restored to what you see today. But more important, it's been the overall atmosphere of this town that's kept him here for all these years.
Pembroke's been a lot of fun. The first thing I did was join the Historical Society, since I have an antique home. And that's been great, all the different functions that they have. But I like the rural, you know, the atmosphere, the ruralness of Pembroke and the horse farms and such. It's been great.
While it was great visiting the farm, the day was starting to get away from us, and we'd have to leave town eventually. But we'd be remiss if we didn't stop at one of the South Shore's most popular hotspots, or cold spots, as it were. If the vintage pink pie wagon out front doesn't catch your eye, then the pink lettering on the roof sign surely will. A local landmark here in town for over 20 years, and under the same management for nearly as long, stopping by the Dairy Twist is a surefire way to know that you're a Pembroke resident.
A lot of the people that we get are regulars. We get a lot of regulars all the time. We definitely have people stop because he said, she said, you should pull into Dairy Twist. They have everything on the list of ice creams. Other people say that they do notice the truck or the sign just going down 53. It's fun when you get like newcomers in. They look at the wall and have no idea what to get, and it's a million taste tests and questions. But we get just about everyone coming through, so it's a good time.
We dropped by just before the rush hit on a summer weeknight, but even this seemed pretty busy.
On any given summer night, Sunday's our busiest. We can push anywhere from 300 to 600 ice creams out in a day. It depends. A lot of the times you'll get the beachgoers at like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock for a steady hour, and then lull at dinner time, and then back to crowds again around like 7, all the way up until close. I would just hope that everyone would want to come back again and that we made a nice experience.
The end of my very long day in the life of has finally arrived. With a twist. Chocolate vanilla soft serve, that is, from Dairy Twist. Reporting for PCN Life, I'm Brian Sullivan. Ooh, that's cold.